Have you ever thought about the effects of spending too much time on your phone texting, or about the effects of texting while completing another task, such as walking? After spending more than half of my day on my phone texting and witnessing almost everyone around me doing the same, the thought has always crossed my mind: how is this affecting me? There is a high possibility that you or someone you know is suffering from the negative effects of texting too often. It is very simple to reduce the time you spend on your phone, knowing that reducing the time you spend on your phone can reduce the effects it has on you. Good afternoon. I'm Francesca DiMarco, and today I will be speaking to you about 3 of the many negative effects texting has on you. First, I will speak to you about how texting while completing another task, such as walking, can impair your balance and your posture. Secondly, I will speak to you about how texting can affect your literacy skills. Lastly, I will speak to you about how texting can change your driving behavior. First, I will begin by telling you how texting while completing another task can impair your posture and your balance. The problem is that there are way too many teens texting while they walk. Without even realizing it, your balance is being affected. The need is to refrain from using your phone while walking, especially crossing the street. Pedestrians are put at a higher risk for getting hit by a car if they're texting because their focus isn't on the road, it is on their phone. In addition, a test done by Starvinos-Schwabel was written in a 2005 article titled "How Talking on the Phone, Texting, and Listening to Music Impact Crossing the Street." Schwabel found that texting is more distracting than just talking on the phone due to the fact that it requires more cognitive skills such as reading and writing. You can sacrifice a few minutes of crossing the street without your phone, knowing that your life will not be at danger. Also, Nurul Retro Nurwalin explains how walking and texting affects balance. He did a study in which he got 20 college students, both male and female, to complete 3 different tasks at 3 different trials. In the task, these students completed 3 different postures. The results found that those who walked and completed these stances without their phone tended to walk straight, kept their balance, and tended not to sway. Differently, those who walked while texting, their balance was affected and they tended to sway more often. Some people argue that texting is a quick and easy way of communication, and for college students, it helps them relieve anxiety and loneliness. However, there are other ways of communicating, and you could decrease the time you spend texting rather than just stop texting for good. Now that I spoke to you about how texting impairs your posture and balance, I will now speak to you about how texting can affect your literacy skills. Another issue us teens have is that we spend way too much time on our phone texting that we don't understand that it is affecting the way we write, how we write our essays. From 2006 to 2011, Nielsen Mobile released some statistical information, and some of this information included the fact that young adults in 1 month texted 65 to 357 times, just in 1 month. That increase was in a several month study. Also, in 2011, another group of statistics revealed that in 1 day, text increased from 29.7 to 41.8. As technology becomes more popular and becomes more common, the way which we use it increases. Salome Jertisma, Shireen Hyman, and Chantal Van Deventer investigated how texting impacted the writing of adolescents in an article written in 2005 titled "Language and Written Skills: Educators' Perspectives." In that article, writing skills were negatively affected. Students were poorly using grammar, and they often tended to shorten their sentences and their words. In this chart, they stated some of the effects that students had in their writing. Some of them include shortening and clipping. Instead of saying probably and definitely, they would say prob and def. They would shorten other words such as you and y. Instead of writing the full word, they would just write the letter. They would say your, spell it U-R instead of the proper way of spelling it. And many others. They would tend to forget to put apostrophes where needed and other grammatical errors. Now that I spoke to you about how texting can affect your literacy skills, I will now speak to you about how texting can affect your driving behavior. In recent years, growing concern correlated with drivers who text. A survey conducted that 60% of drivers text while they drive. In addition, in 2019, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimated that 995 people died in 1 year due to texting and driving accidents. Texting while driving takes your focus off the road for at least 5 seconds. And according to distractions.org, in those 5 seconds, you could drive across a football field. In response, states have made changes and bans to laws, including banning texting, and some have banned handheld devices in total. However, these bans have not made a significant change in the number of people who lost their lives. This is why you need to make a change so you or someone you know isn't part of that statistic. As you can see, using your phone to text a lot can have a negative effect on you and your life. Today I spoke to you about how texting while completing another task can impair your posture and your balance. I also spoke to you about how texting can affect your literacy skills. Lastly, I spoke to you about how texting can change your driving behavior. What if you were to get hit by a car because you were too busy texting? Or what if you were part of that statistic to lose your life? Don't only think about yourself, also think about the people around you. What if you were texting and you hit somebody, or vice versa? You have to think about others as well as yourself, and minimizing the way you text can be a start. I hope that for my presentation, you think twice about where, when, and how often you text. There are other ways to communicate that are safer and not as negatively as effective. Thank you.